This is video 5. The topic is managing workflow and controlling clutter in plans. But first, a quick comment about terminology. In plans, a note or a heading is called an association. A heading association is always linked to a folder or a folder shortcut. A note association can be linked to a document, email, or web page. Or it can be plain text with no link. I'll often simply use the words note or heading. I'll use the word association if I want my comments to apply to either a note or a heading. Now on to the topic of this video. Workflow in plans happens in 3 steps: capture, connect, complete. You probably already know about the features of capture from videos 1, 2, and 3, but let's review these again now. First, from within plans, the simplest way to capture my thoughts is simply to type. I can promote my thought to a heading, which can then group notes and subheadings. Or I may decide to demote a simple heading to be a note. I can also move my notes and headings up or down. Using the commands of the Insert menu, I can easily link a thought to a new document, spreadsheet, presentation, OneNote section, email message, or even a tweet. Or I can associate my thought to an existing file or folder. Or I can use the ActiveItem command to associate a thought to the information item that is currently displayed in an open window. I can also capture information from the outside in through the action of drag and drop. I select an item or select some of its text, drag into plans to copy the selected text, and to capture a link back to the source. Using the separate Quick Capture utility, I can even capture information when Plans is not in view or even running. I access Quick Capture from the desktop or Start menu, or by typing the keyboard combination of the Windows flag key and C. But capture is only the first step. For information captured, how to connect to the tasks and to-dos that I need to complete, and how to be sure that these tasks and to-dos are completed on time. For time and task management, I turn to the operations of the Review menu. Near the left-hand side is the option to flag an association, either a note or a heading, as a to-do. I can also access this operation by clicking on the outline of a flag that appears when to the left of a note or a heading that I hover over. For a heading, the flag operation brings up a dialog that lets me specify the start and due dates of the to-do. Using options, I can create a task for this to-do in Outlook, and also separate appointments for the start and due dates. I can also elect to create a shortcut to this heading under the top-level Today Plus heading. I use Today Plus as a kind of special ongoing project, as in, what do I want to do today and over the next few days? If I flag a heading and choose to create a shortcut for this heading and its folder under Today Plus, then I can expand in place to see related information. I often flag subheadings across several different projects, creating a shortcut heading for each under Today Plus. In doing so, I can have, in one view under Today Plus, all the tasks and to-dos that need to be completed soon. But for a simple to-do, I may simply type in a note directly under Today Plus. Or, if I'm not in plans, I might use Quick Capture. Today Plus comes with 2 subheadings, Notes and The Days Ahead. You are welcome to add others. For example, I've added an additional heading I call Odds and Ends, as a place I put things like directions or instructions I'm often sending people, or budget numbers I find hard to remember. Notes is a default place to put all the notes and links that you create using Quick Capture. You can then review these later when you're back in plans. The Days Ahead helps me plan for the future. If I expand, I see a subheading for each of the next 7 days starting with today. To see more days, I can click to see the journal in a separate window. We'll talk more about the journal later. And a simple hint, if the days are not right, collapse and then expand again, or click the refresh button in the upper left-hand corner. If I click Open a Date heading, I see an option to import meetings and appointments from my Outlook calendar. If I do so, each meeting and appointment will appear as a separate subheading under the Date heading. I can expand a meeting or appointment heading to see more information and to see an icon that I can click to get back to the meeting or appointment in Outlook. Even better, this information is now part of a plan in Plans. I can type or link in additional information. For example, to prepare ahead of time or to record notes during or after a meeting. So far, I've talked about operations of capture, including quick capture. And I've talked about operations that connect associations, headings and notes, to the Today Plus region of Plans, and to tasks, appointments, and meetings in other applications. Using the flag operation, for example, and the days ahead, I can make connections between Plans and the time and task management support of Outlook. Now I'll talk about Step 3, Complete, and I'll talk about the clutter control that goes along with completion. For any flagged association, note or heading, I can click Check as Completed from the Review menu, or I can simply click directly on the flag. The association stays in view, but it is now checked as being completed. I like seeing checked associations as a reminder of work that I've completed, but after a while my view can get cluttered. To manage clutter, I use what are called the Power D operations of the Review menu: Done, Defer, Delegate, and Delete. I can mark a note or a collapsed heading as done, whether or not it has been flagged or checked as completed. When I do, the association will appear in a light green color. If I refresh, or if I collapse and then expand the parent heading, the association will no longer appear. I can make it appear again by checking the option to Show Associations Marked as Done. For an association that is marked as done, an entry is made in the journal. By default, this entry is made under a heading for today's date, but you can select other dates by clicking on the bottom part of the Done button. Defer works similar to Done. Associations marked with Defer appear initially in a light purple color, and then these associations disappear from view after a refresh or a collapse and expand of the parent heading. I can choose to see deferred associations at any time by checking the Review menu option to Show Associations Marked as Deferred. But one important difference is that deferred associations will appear again automatically when their deferred date is today. By default, an association that's deferred is given tomorrow's date, but I can click the bottom portion of the Defer button to select another date in the future. The Defer button is a nice way to make associations disappear, not forever, but for a little while, so that I can focus on more urgent matters. With both Done and Defer, the association stays under its parent heading. But sometimes I want to move an association to be under a different heading. The operations of Move Up and Move Down work fine for nearby moves, but for bigger moves, I use the Delegate operation. If I don't see the destination I want on the drop-down menu, I can click the Select a Project option to see a dialog that lets me select the heading for any folder to which I have access. I often use Delegate to move an association from one project to another, or from the top level of a project and into the heading for sub-project or a specific task. I also use Delegate to manage the associations that accumulate under the Notes heading as I use Quick Capture throughout the day. I use Delete to get rid of an association altogether. I do this especially for simple notes that I don't think I'll ever want to refer to again. I can use Done and Defer quickly to clear up clutter. If I make a mistake, I can always go back and select Undo. Or later on, I can check the options to see associations marked as done or deferred, and then click the Undo button for selected associations. Plans will ask me to confirm the operations of Delegate and Delete, since there is no comparable undo for these operations. These operations can be partly undone from the Windows Explorer. Now you know about the Review menu operations in support of Capture, Connect, Complete, Workflow, and Plans. Video 6 will focus on the View menu and the use of the journal in Plans.